Good morning, everybody. This is the walkthrough for the lesson on form and meter in poetry for March 31st. So we're going to start with part one, and that is to define forms of poetry. So we have given you 15 different forms that we want you to define. And as we continue through this next week, we are going to identify or have you identify the forms of particular poems. So some forms might already be familiar. For example, a lot of you already know what a haiku is, or you may have heard the word sonnet, but you're probably less familiar with something like blank verse or villanelle. So follow along with me as I go through the directions. So in part one, define the forms of poetry. And what you're going to do is you're going to use the internet to help you figure out which term from column A matches that blank for the definition in column C. So I'm going to do the first one with you so that you're understanding. So first thing I'm going to do is read the definition. It says blank is poetry written with a precise meter, almost always iambic pentameter, that does not rhyme. So you're probably thinking, I have no idea what iambic pentameter is, and that's okay. You're going to use these clue words, the words that you think are important, to search on the internet to see if you can figure out what goes in that blank. And you've got a word bank over here in column A. So I'm going to pick my clue word. So here I might pick iambic pentameter that does not rhyme. I would bet if I copy pasted that into Google, I'm going to get something like this. Blank verse. Unrhyming iambic pentameter, also called heroic verse, this 10-syllable line is the predominant rhythm of the traditional English dramatic and epic poetry, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So I am pretty confident that the words blank verse are going to go in that particular definition. So I'm going to scroll down, and there's my blank verse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually copy that, or you can just cut it if that's more helpful for you. I'm going to copy it, so I'm going to paste it right there. So blank verse is poetry written with a precise meter, almost always iambic pentameter, that does not rhyme. So by the end of this, you should have column A blank and the correct term in column B for each definition. Okay, so it will take you a bit of time to complete this assignment because you are going to have to search the internet, but it shouldn't take you too long to finish. All right, in task 2, this is the introduction to poetic meter, and this might be something you're a lot less familiar with. So meter, when we think of meter, you probably immediately go to math class and measuring, and this is a form of measuring, but we're talking about poetry. So it's a little more difficult than just kind of measuring out centimeters. So you're going to read the definition and watch the videos below to learn more about meter in poetry. So the definition of meter is as follows. The basic rhythmic structure of a line within a work of poetry, meter consists of 2 components. So first, the number of syllables. So if I'm counting out syllables, some of you know the clapping trick. I like the trick where you put your hand underneath of your chin, and when you talk, every time you feel your hand go down, that's how you would count. So for example, if I said Carmel Middle School, I know that there are 4 syllables in the words Carmel Middle School. So you can try it with your own name really quickly, and you'll feel your chin move your hand down. And that's easier to count, because if you're trying to clap and count at the same time, I think it gets a little confusing. So a line of poetry can be broken into feet. That may be a new poetry term for you, which are the individual units within a line of poetry. A foot of poetry has a specific number of syllables and a specific pattern of emphasis. So when you hear in a poem that rhythm, da-dum, 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 that is being done by the use of metrical feet in poetry. And that's that pattern that you're hearing. And you hear it as well in a lot of hip hop music, and a lot of singer-songwriters just use it in general. It makes it sound nice. We call it, I guess, the flow. So you're going to watch a video here. This is a Schmope video. It's really basic. They're going to introduce some terms you don't have to memorize, like dactyl and iamb and trochee. They're good to know because it's nice to know that those things make up meter in poetry, and it's much more complex than just saying, oh, there's a meter and it has a flow to it. But you don't have to memorize them. So just write down 3 things that you learned, just so that I know that you watched the video. And then in the second video, this one pay a little bit more attention to. It's a little bit more complex, and this is a TED Ed video focusing specifically on Shakespeare, because Shakespeare was a huge fan of something called iambic pentameter. So there are 5 questions here that come from the video. First, what is a dactyl? And no, it is not a pterodactyl, but the roots do come from the same place. Then you have double, double, toil and trouble, fire, burn, and cauldron bubble is an example of what type of foot. That's a famous Shakespearean line. To be or not to be is an example of what type of foot. If you never knew where that line came from, that's a Shakespearean line as well. What was Shakespeare's favorite type of meter? If you've been paying attention to this video, you already know because I just told you. And how many feet are in a line of iambic pentameter? There's a clue in there as well. All right, so answer those questions in complete sentences, and then in task 3, we want you to take a closer look at particular poems, and this time we're going to bring in some music because music is a really easy way to look at meter and metrical feet. So the first song is I Am Her, and the lyrics are here. I am going to attempt to play the song. I hope you can hear it because it sounds much better when she sings it versus when I do it. So you should be able to hear it start in just a minute. Interruption of your daily status quo. We're here to disrupt the arrangement of your daddy's show. This double extraordinary enigmatic flow is brought to you by Audrey and Bella, Maya Angelou. Hand them over, we need the titles, receipts, and the fire, replete with the power to speak. Okay, so hopefully you can hear that through the video. I recorded this video literally 10 times trying to get that audio to play, and this hopefully worked. We'll see. All right. Going down into the next one, this is a poem by Dylan Thomas, and it was something we mentioned we'd circle back to last week. And this is from a poem called Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night. So read these 3 stanzas, and this one you should see some repetition happening, which is very helpful with creating rhythm and rhyme. So here, the third one, you have another Shakespearean sonnet. So since we just watched the video on Shakespeare, having some impressions and thoughts about Sonnet 116 should be pretty easy to come by. And this is a pretty famous one. If you want to Google Sonnet 116, there's lots of actors and actresses that read this poem, and you can really hear them. Watching a couple different videos is really interesting because you might hear one actor read it one way, and then another actress might read it very, very differently. So it starts, let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds. So if you just Google that, you'll find plenty of people reading that much better than I can do. And then the very last lyrics I want you to look at are lyrics from Kendrick Lamar's DNA. And so again, I'm going to attempt, I definitely cannot pull this off. So I'm going to play the song, and hopefully you can hear Kendrick Lamar say it, and you won't have to listen to me. When they get like Wimbledon, they serve. Yeah, that's him again. The sound that engine in is like a bird. You see fireworks and Corvette tires skirt the boulevard. I know how you work. I know just who you are. I just got yelled at because I just woke my kids up playing that song so loud. Okay, so hopefully you could hear the songs this time. If not, the lyrics are right there and you can read them. You're going to give me your impressions and your thoughts. So going back up to the directions, Specifically, I want you to write 3 to 4 sentences conveying your impressions and thoughts on how meter, rhyme, rhythm, and form are being used in these lines, not necessarily looking for similes and metaphors. That's the stuff that we did last week. So we're looking more at you identifying kind of where that flow is. Where do you hear the sound and the repetition of the sounds? And so you may not have the vocabulary yet to or the terminology to identify exactly what you are looking for, but just in your own words, do the best you can. And then over the next couple of days, we're going to give you the terminology for what you're identifying, for what you're seeing in these poems. Okay, so look for rhyme scheme if you can find it, or just identify any type of rhyme, internal rhyme, meaning in the lines, or external rhyme, meaning at the end rhymes. You can look for forms. You might see, hint, hint, the Shakespearean sonnet and the Dylan Thomas poem have specific forms. Even though you're only seeing a part of the poems, you can probably still identify it. So just give me your impressions and your thoughts. And then next week we will, or later this week and next week, we will give you all those words that you need to help express your impressions and thoughts with the correct terminology. All right, if you need any help, just join me for the Canvas chat on Wednesday. I sent you guys an announcement, or you can email, call, text, through Remind, whatever you need to do to get some help. I know this is going to be a little bit tricky. Bye, guys.